This program is brought to you in part by SalCal Real Estate Connections. Yes, welcome to Race in Action Today. We're here today with special guests from Z2 Motorsports. And believe me, Marc, it's a pleasure to have you here, Marc Ulan.
Thanks, Larry. Pleasure to be here.
You got to tell me about your business now. Tell me, what do you do at Z2?
What do we do? Well, we do a lot. So our focus is our muscle cars, performance cars, and race cars. Mm-hmm. So I usually say it's just the cool stuff, the things that are cool and fun. And we do everything from simple repair to complete ground-up restorations to customizations.
Performance enhancements.
Performance enhancements, yeah.
I saw a car there. I thought you were driving it too. A blue Cobra. Is that a replica car or what is it?
Yeah, that was, so we had, that is a replica. The one I'm probably thinking of that was in the shop is a replica Cobra. Mm-hmm. We don't know its origin, that car in particular. We did a lot of research to find out whose kit it was.
And you don't know?
We still don't know.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, we still don't know. We know we spent a good 5 days trying to replace the rear brakes, so that was fun. That's
wow. Now, does it have the typical like Mustang parts, or like the motor? Is it a 289 or is it a big block?
This car in particular, and I'm not advocating for this because this is Ford people would really be upset by this, as I too. So this one had a small block Chevy as a motor.
Oh wow!
And I believe it was a Mustang 2 front end.
Oh wow, that's different.
So it's and it's interesting because just on that for a minute, the Cobra kit market is fairly broad, and there's a spectrum of of closeness. This was on the lower end of the spectrum of being like the original, if you will. Mm-hmm. And it was also an older kit, so a lot of the technology was older as well.
I tell you, it's a pretty car, though. It's very pretty.
They catch it. Everybody sees them.
You got to remember. I mean, one of the most famous replica Cobra companies is right in New Britain here.
Yeah, right. Peter P.
Yeah, you know the man,
I
right?
do. Yep, I have one of their cars.
Yeah. So, I mean, as far as, and over the years, there's been so many people. I mean, what's that, Force 5 or what the hell do they call it?
Oh, Factory 5.
Factory 5. They're huge now.
Yep.
They even make GT40s.
That's right. 32 Ford,
I think. Boy. All kind of hot rods. And
yep.
Oh, do you get into hot rods yourself?
So, it's a little bit before my time, the hot rod world, but in the shop, we've had a few things come through. We have a 37 Ford in there right now, which is an all-steel car, so it's an original car, but it's built like a hot rod, and it just has we have a laundry list of things that we're going to do for that car. But so through a few things at the shop, I've had that experience, and I have to say they sort of grow on me a little bit.
Yeah,
it was never my thing growing up, but I kind of appreciate just the simplicity of them.
Oddly enough, I have to tell you this: growing up in grammar school, I was constantly being reprimanded because I was drawing hot rods all the time on a notebook, And I always liked them, a Roadster, like an old Ford Roadster, stuff like that. But eventually I got into, again, like I said, the muscle car era is huge. I had a Z28, 69 Camaro we fixed. I had a very rare car, which today is hard to find, a Yenko Deuce. You know what they are?
I know what the Yenko is, yep.
Yeah, very rare, very rare.
Yeah, a lot of money.
A lot of money, and I wish I had that car today. Oh, my dear. But, so, you're kind of open door to whatever they bring in, you're interested to do it.
Yeah, I mean, we try to stay within the world that I described, and we really try to, our sweet spot, muscle cars, we do some race car work. We've had the opportunity to do some classic car work. We have a couple customers that have fairly extensive collections of some very interesting older cars, which, really a little bit outside of, our experience directly in the shop, but it's amazing how much you can learn online and by asking questions.
Well, sure.
And at the end of the day, we learn, they're really just cars,
That's right.
regardless,
That's right.
it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we've sort of expanded our viewpoint a little bit from where we maybe thought it would have been coming in.
Yeah. I have a saying: the collector car world is alive and well.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
the other thing, which over the years, my wife used to give me a hard time about buying these old cars, and Mark, it's better than money in the bank. They actually will in time become more valuable than you would than leaving money in the bank. You know what I mean?
There are guys that's what they're doing. They're using their cars, using their collection as an investment.
Yeah, yeah.
And there are organizations that will offer what they'll call collection management.
Yeah.
And what it is basically is helping you treat it like an investment.
Yes, absolutely. I am surprised. I have not seen a mutual fund that's based on that theory.
That's fantastic.
Did you ever think of that?
I hadn't, but now that you gave me the idea,
You know what I'm saying?
I think that could be onto something.
I think it could work.
Why not?
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that later.
You're just trying to get your way to getting an old.
Yeah.
Convince your wife into letting you make some purchases.
Let me tell you, I had dreams of owning an old, older Shelby 350 GT 350. I mean, I love them cars. I'll tell you.
You'll love those too.
But try to find one.
I know. We went to a customer.
Without paying the $500,000.
That's the thing. We went to a customer's house last week looking at a car, and in his garage he had an original GT 350 and a GT 500.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful, beautiful cars.
Yeah, they are. I tell people a story. Growing up, I was a teenager. I had just got my license, and I wanted a Mustang. And I dragged my father to Providence, Rhode Island, to Tasker Ford. Back then, that's where they were. And they were one of the only dealers around here that sold Shelby Mustangs. Okay. So we get there. We're looking at the car. My father said, "Why are we here? To buy a car, you got to come all the way over here." I said, "Listen, this car is not sold on every Ford dealer." So the salesman, "All right, let me take you for a ride." I knew I was in trouble right away. We go for a ride. He scares the shit out of everybody, right? My father turns around and says to me, "You will never, ever buy this car."
He ruined it for you.
He ruined it for me.
The salesman botched the sale.
Yeah. Eventually, I did get a Mustang, but not a Shelby, And they weren't cheap back then. I mean, I think it was like $4,200 or something. I mean, back then that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And there wasn't many dealers around that sold them. Not many. Tasker was one.
Yeah.
I think there was there was one more in Connecticut. I can't remember where the hell they were.
Was there a sense at the time? Was it understood that was a special car?
Well, there was a sense of the fact that it was a race car out of the box.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. It had special things on it that you normally didn't see in the car you bought from the factory. It had a big rear end. It had good brakes. It had special traction control bars. It had relocated upper control arms for handling. I mean, it was special.
Yeah.
Yes. The motors, not so special. I mean, they were okay. They were, I think, 306 horsepower, but they had a few things done, but nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But I love them cars. I'll tell you, Mark. I could still, to this day, I still dream about owning one of them cars.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But I've had some good cars over the years. And I'm sure you have too.
I have. I'm not very good at selling them. I'm pretty good at buying them, and really, actually, one of the reasons why I even have a shop is because I ran out of space at my house, and I said, well, if I want to build more cars, I have to have somewhere to do it and somewhere to put them.
Yeah. Now, were you working on cars at the house too?
Always, always.
Awesome.
My whole life. I was I had our house built before I was married, which is very clear. If you came inside, you would understand right away. And so the biggest part of the house is the garage.
Oh, wow.
And I
Yeah.
specifically, when I had it built, have like an oversized garage, ceiling high enough for a lift.
Yeah.
And so I basically set up my shop in the garage.
So you can work on cars.
And my very, very understanding wife has tolerated for many years now of not having a garage space
Yeah.
for
I
her
know.
car.
We know the feeling. Yeah. You know, when I was growing up, and when I first got married, I had a good friend of mine, Roger Schindewolf, and we used to, like on a weekend, we would do brake jobs on cars, and you know what I mean, stuff like that. And we were busy all the time, all the time. We always had somebody's wanted something done. You know what I mean? And it was like a sideline, you know, and it helped. It was gave us a few extra dollars, you know. And then eventually I got into fixing wrecks, believe it or not. That was another crazy thing. Oh, my dear. You know, buy salvage cars and
Fix it
fix them.
and then sell it. Yeah.
I mean, the laws back then were not like they are today. Back then, you could fix a car, go register, that was it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Today's not like that.
No, have a salvage title.
Oh,
That would
yeah.
follow it everywhere.
Gotta follow it,
Yep.
and you got to bring it for a special inspection.
Yep. Yep.
But in the day, you know, working on those cars, that's how I got my house. I'm not going to kid you. Fixing them cars, I saved enough of money to get a good down payment for a house, and that was how I got my first house.
It's fantastic.
See,
So you could have had a shop.
that's right.
You were smart enough
You
not
know
to.
what? You know, I'm going to tell you something. There was a time I wanted to open a salvage yard. You know, selling wrecks like that.
Yeah. Hey, why not? I mean, that was,
Yeah.
you know, Pandoffs, and
Yeah.
it was very successful for a lot of years.
There was a time I really wanted to do that,
Yeah.
but unfortunately it never happened. And I mean, no, I'm not complaining. I spent a lot of years in manufacturing. At first, I was actually a machinist. Then I did production control type work, purchasing. Eventually, I ended up on the road selling for 25 years for a company in East Berlin, actually. And it was a really great company. They could turn, at the time, up to 15 feet in diameter. It was unique. Nobody around. TM Industries was the
Okay.
name of the company. Tony McCarthy.
Okay.
It was very unique. He saw the future. He did. The man saw the future.
Yep.
15 feet in diameter. He had a machine, you know, a vertical turret lathe.
Wow.
And the building was 45 feet high.
Wow. Are they still there?
He's still there.
So then when
No, the building's there, but he's not.
Okay.
He sold the company to a aircraft manufacturer.
I think it's down on Commerce Drive.
Yes,
I know
yes.
the building.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
exactly where it is.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. So I worked there for 25 years.
Nice.
You know, doing all kinds of things, and even being on the road, and you know, I miss the people. That's what I miss the
Yeah.
most. You know, I used to go to Wichita, Kansas, and you know, St. Louis, McDonnell Douglas. You know what I mean? It was interesting
Yeah,
work.
I
you know.
bet.
So, did you ever get involved with machining at all?
I haven't had the opportunity myself. I've done a little bit. I've done a little bit of CNC work before, but it's not my sweet spot. I don't have the experience really. I actually tried to learn a CAD CAM design tool, and I thought,
Yeah,
oh, how hard
yeah,
can
yeah.
it be? It's you follow the mouse and you click.
Yeah.
It's a little more complicated than that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I realized my skill set's better behind the scenes, trying to describe to people what I want.
Yeah.
And then somebody's much better than I am.
Now, while people are here watching the show here, Z2 Motorsports. What is your specialty? Would you say it was?
Yeah, I mean, our sweet spot are muscle cars.
Mm-hmm.
That's where our passion is. That's our background. But we are broader than that. But that's the thing I think that really is our specialty, and the thing that what we're really trying to do as much as we can, and not to take anything else away, but we're trying to get more into the resto mod world. We're building a resto mod Jeep right now that has been a really fun project. We've got a Dodge Dart coming in that we're going to put a Hellcat drivetrain in.
Oh my dear!
So that's a thing that's ongoing.
So resto mods, you like them? Huh?
Yeah. That's. We still want to do the other stuff. I really want Z2 Motorsports to be a place that car enthusiasts can go to. People, if you love cars, you got cool cars, we're the place to go.
I mean, you'll do standard work too, right? I mean, somebody has an engine problem or needs a door, dent in the door or something, you'll do that too, won't you?
We do, on the body side, we'll do some body work if it's, if it's not quote unquote a cool car. On the body side, we'll do some of that. On the mechanical side, we've only done that for like friends and family.
Okay.
So on the mechanical side, we try to stay away. And we've been lucky enough that we have the other stuff coming in. So, we try to stay focused on what we want to do, but we always make exceptions.
And I'm sure you're always looking for help too, right?
Yes, we are looking for help. And if anybody's out there who's a skilled auto body technician and or painter, come see us at Z2 Motorsports, because that's really one of the hardest things right now.
East Street, right?
East Street in New Britain, right behind the car wash. Yeah. So, and it's a tough environment, not just for us, and really not just for automotive, right? I mean, a lot of folks don't go into the trades anymore.
No.
And so, any of the trades, I think, are struggling a little bit trying to get people to
Everybody I talk to, Mark, who's got a business, got the same problem. We cannot get help.
Yeah.
And I'm sure yours is going to be just like, and because people got to be skilled when they do some of the kind of things you do. You have to be a skilled person.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
You could always teach people, but it's not easy.
It's not easy. And, body work is 50% skill and 50% talent. And the talent part's hard to teach.
Yes.
It's not as straightforward as taking something apart and putting it back together.
No.
And that's a tough skill. It's a tough skill to find, and it's a tough skill, but something you have to have.
Did anybody ever approach you to build a kit car?
No, we have not yet. Do you have something in mind? We'd be happy to build for.
Well, I'm thinking. I said, there's people that would love to own a replica Cobra or something, but they're a little hesitant to make the step to do the work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you could even do it in stages,
That's right. Yep.
So there's a lot to be done, there's a lot of things you could always do to a performance car.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They're always a work in progress, the way I look at it. They're never really fully done.
Yep. I know myself, I oddly enough, I have a Jeep Wrangler. My wife calls it my toy, But you know what? I enjoy it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. The Jeeps are awesome.
they're
so popular. I think they just did a fantastic job on the new Jeeps.
Yeah, I can't believe, Mark, when we first got the Jeep, we're driving, and people are waving. My wife says, "Do you know these people?" I said, "No,
Just fellow Jeep
that's the thing they do."
Who knew? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they had the Jeep wave. I said, "Oh my dear."
Like motorcycles just have that, right? They'd wave at other bikers.
Who would have thought that?
Yeah.
I know one thing, they have a real good follow, let me tell you.
Yeah.
They're sought after. Oh, boy. So you've done some work on Jeeps, huh?
Yeah, we've got a 1985 CJ7, I was saying, that we're doing a resto mod build on. And that's been a really fun project. We actually spent today getting some of the body panels aligned, have the chassis all together. We're just getting the body in place. We're building some custom flares that we were working on today. We built a custom hood where we took a regular CJ7 hood and we took the scoop part from a modern TJ, cut it out, and of grafted it
wow,
onto the
wow.
CJ.
What kind of motor is that?
So we went with the slant with the straight six 258
Yeah.
that would have come original. We converted it to throttle body fuel injection, make it a little bit more reliable.
Yeah. Easy to live with.
Exactly. Updated the to electronic ignition, so it'll be a little bit easier to live with than it would have been in 1985.
Yeah, I have to tell you a story. During my process, when I was fooling around with wrecked cars, I bought a 1973 Jeep. And at that time, I think it was CJ5, I think.
Yep.
The thing that was interesting, it had a V8 engine. And when it came time to order, I needed 2 front fenders. Everything was different because of that V8 engine.
Oh, yeah.
It was long.
Interesting. It was the AMC 304 motor, probably.
Yes. The thing flew. Mark, it had a 3-speed. The thing flew, though.
Yeah, I bet. Well, they're so small. The CJ5s especially.
It was tiny.
Right.
Well, yeah, oddly enough, I sold it to a kid in Berlin who moved to Colorado. About a year after he moved out there, he hit a pack of wild horses and totaled the Jeep.
Oh my God.
Wild horses. Could you imagine?
No. Connecticut, at least.
I couldn't even envision that. And totaled it.
Wow.
Yeah. But that was a rare car. You didn't see many of them.
With the V8?
With the V8.
I know. Yeah, it's a lot harder to find them with the 8.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
I mean, I love the scramblers and stuff like that. When I go to a car show and I see one, I'm like a magnet to it,
Yeah. It's one of the reasons why we're building the Jeep too, because we're going to use it to show off some of our build capabilities and paint capabilities, and it's just a little different because I go to car shows all the time, and we bring our regular muscle cars, but you don't really see the Jeeps that much. You don't really see the 4-wheel drive stuff.
No.
So figured it'll catch a little attention maybe.
Now, what do you think of this wrap? Everyone wraps cars now.
Oh, the wraps, yeah.
What do you think of that?
I think it's really interesting. It's for the race car. I'm considering it for the race car because it's just so much easier. First of all, the race car, you have a lot of vinyl and stickers and other things, and every one of those things has to be put on individually. And if you want to do stripes, you've got to mask all that. But on a wrap, you just design it and print it and put it on.
That's it.
And if you bang up a fender, you just print out that part again. And
I think these people are busy with this.
Yeah.
I mean, the new fad, these things are wrapped, and they're not even shiny. They're like a dull finish.
Right, like the matte finish.
Yeah,
that's kind of a little popular thing right now.
I'm confused with that.
I know, right? De-gloss my car for me.
Yeah,
but it's a style, I guess.
Yes, I guess so.
And the thing with the wraps is, done well, you can't really tell. You got to get up pretty close to find the seams.
Really,
if it's done well. I don't know how long they last. I've heard a little bit that they're not as durable, obviously, as paint.
Yeah.
But it's something that, as a automotive business owner, it's something that I definitely am interested in, and I think it's something that we could offer at some point.
Yeah, I think it has its purpose, with no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And race cars are a good example. Let me tell you.
Yep.
Because, the paint race car is not fun.
Exactly.
On a daily, a weekly basis. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So yeah. So that's something you're going to think about then, huh?
Yeah, we've got a lot of other things to focus on right now, but it's certainly in the back of my head as a thing that we might want to have either work with somebody who does that, or perhaps bring it in house. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
But I think that's something that it's going to keep going. It's not it's not
a fad.
It's not a fad. It's too interesting. It has too many advantages for it to be a fad.
Yeah.
And it's just going to get better as it goes.
Now tell me something. Does Lil work in the shop?
Lillian, does she work in the shop? She will work in the shop while she's in the shop, but not in the shop itself. No, she'll come down and she'll do some of her own work in the office in the shop, but she's come in, she helps me clean up and things like that. We've had a couple open houses at the shop, and she's fantastic, where she gets
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
organized.
Well,
the food.
she's a people person,
That's right. Yeah.
and that's the difference, you know. Well, Mark, as you know, when you're having fun, time flies. It's been really great to have you here, and I'm going to have to come down to your shop and to get a close-up look at what you do there, and you never know. You know, this old gray-haired guy may show up one day with a GT 350, and you just never know.
I look forward to that day.
Yeah,
It'll be fantastic.
me too. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Larry.
And thank you for watching the show tonight, and tune in again next week to Racing Action Today. Thank you. This program is brought to you in part by Just Results Weight Loss Center in Berlin, Connecticut.
Nick Augustino right here at the East Side Restaurant. We always have the complete full dinner menu. Knockwurst, bratwurst, sauerbraten, potato pancakes, red cabbage, rice pudding, cream pies, all the desserts that Germany had to offer. I always do something different. Yes, I do. I brought seafood to the beer garden at the East Side Restaurant. East Side Restaurant, your German destination restaurant in Connecticut. Tiki-taka, hoy, hoy, hoy!
Follow us on Instagram at nutmeg.tv.